Hey, Billy.
Hey,
How are
Sister B.
you? Good.
Oh, it's so beautiful, man.
Ah.
You know, your beauty, your beauty, it is infinite.
I've heard good things about you. I've been so looking forward to meeting you, Billy.
Thank you so much, for inviting me here. It's a great pleasure and honor as well. Yeah.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Introduction to South African guitar styles. 5 decades of Ukuvamba.
Yes, Ukuvamba. So now Ukuvamba is this. It is to strum. Mm-hmm. Older musicians, they called it Ukuvamba. So now Ukuvamba, they meant to strum.
Right.
So now I grew up in the showbiz. I was always the youngest musician. I worked with the Dorothy Masuku, Thandi Klassen, Hostix, Jonas Kwangwa, all of those people. And at the young age, they used to say to me, Billy, hey, we have Ukuvamba. And Mom Dorothy Masuku one day, I didn't find out I was Ukuvamba. And I was like, so that word, I kept on hearing it quite often in different events,
right.
And I thought, no, one day I need to write a book that it has to speak about Ukuvamba.
Right. Well done. I mean, this is a proper research piece.
Yes.
That you went into the history of Maskandi.
Yes.
Yes. Just take us through the journey.
I've always said this, often that if I wasn't conscientized and, this book wouldn't have happened. I was conscientized at a young age because I wanted to bring a content and a product that it is internationally competitive. Mm. So at school, there were books that they were coming from America. And I was like, no, but we as Black people, we have brains too to produce this kind of material. So now, growing up, I grew up with the music of Umpaqanga, and the people like the Western Coast, Mahlatini and Maotela Queens. Mm. That's how I got baptized through the music. I grew up listening to jazz. Mm. So in 1997, when I started playing the guitar, that was the first music that I played. When I then later, Alan Quellas, all those people, they came into the jazz scene, just became popular. It was like the pop music of today at that time. And when I went to school, I got conscientized because already I was studying political science. Mm. So I have loved history from the beginning. From the inception, I was a historian. I loved history so much. And I questioned so many things, in the history class, because now the most important thing that you need to remember about the history is events, the years. So that's why I wrote this book, because I realized that there was a gap at school. So now when I went to study music, I was given an assignment to go and research about Maskanda. There was nothing at the libraries. There was nothing of this nature. But today, if you go on the internet everywhere, my name comes. It comes with the attachment of the book.
Yes, Billy. Yes. Billy.
Yeah. So that's how I got it.
And so the publishing journey and the process, what was that like?
It was a difficult one because first of all, there wasn't much of the material being published, especially of this nature. And the reason I wrote this is because I can bring a different voice. Because many people, when they do their postgrads, they want to do a research, and we have only limited books to contribute in the research. So I'm bringing a new voice that people they can reference from it. To it. So I dropped out of school. I'm not condoning that young people they must drop out of school, but for me, I had to sacrifice my studies so that I can do this journey, embark on this journey. Because when I was traveling the world, people out of South Africa, they were asking me, Billy, where can we find South African history, music books? I was ashamed to tell them that there isn't any. They wanted to know about the tutorial book, and I said there was nothing. And I started researching then in 2005-06. I started researching. So now, as I was working with these older musicians, they were telling me stories every day. Every day I will write something down. Every day they tell me stories, because I worked with Sipho Mabuse for 12 years, 13 years, and every day I will hear stories about these guitar players. And Jonas Kwanga was like to me, "Do you know General Duze?" I'm like, "Who's that?" I was like, "It's a guitar player who was playing in the musical King Kong." I said, "I've never heard of this guy." I went to research, and the more I kept on researching, the more I kept digging. Many people, they came up. So the early jazz guitar players who played with the Miriam Makeba, the Dolly Ratebe, they were born in the 1920s. Now, talking about the journey, finding their images.
Right.
Yeah. Remember when you interview the informants, those people who were there, their memory kind of deteriorates. They can't remember actual facts. When was this? I mean, myself, if you ask me about last week, I can't remember what happened. So you can imagine interviewing someone with the events of 1920. It was quite difficult, because I have to interview different personnel so that I can get factual stories to put on the research.
How long did it take you to write?
It took me 15 years.
15 years.
I'm a performer. I'm a recording artist, and I'm a producer as well. So now, in between, I was booked to perform at the festivals.
You're booked and busy.
Yes, so sometimes being booked and busy, it will cause like a hindrance to this, and also the financial aspect of it, because it is a new innovation. When I write to the institutions that are supposed to, support this kind of work, they're like, "Billy, you want to write a book?" I'm like, "Yes." They thought maybe I want to write a memoir. I said, "No, it's a tutorial book." They're like, they didn't trust me with their money, because this is something that it has never been done.
Yeah.
And the institutions, they are accustomed to fund cliche projects, and this thing was out of their box. So like, and I kept on telling them this book is a tutorial book.
Yeah.
So now this book, it is a solution to them, to the education system. We need to advance the Black education system. People each and every May, they speak about decolonization, and I speak about the first place to decolonize is at school. If our kids, they're still singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star at school, they are not singing Dipina Tsaruna as Black people, and then you want to talk about decolonizing, what are you saying?
Yep.
Because when we have African music in school, music it plays a pivotal role in the society, because a lyric teaches a kid how to speak. If a song is in Xhosa, kids just learn how to speak Xhosa automatically. So that's how it is.
Yeah. So it is a tutorial.
Yes.
Is it specifically for people who've got musical backgrounds or are in the music space, or Basetsana who has never played an instrument in her life can be able to delve into it and learn?
Yes, I had so many people, they've asked me that question. Hey, Billy, imagine me ngidlala guitar, manje uzwezani ngencwadi yakho. So now this book is not about it's not about the guitar. The guitar is just that voice that is carrying the book, but there's history in here. The history and the evolution of South African music from 1900. So now here I talk about 1930.
30 to 1980.
Yes. But in the introduction, I dive straight into 1900, so in the 1930s, the first Black guitarist who was successfully recorded was Willie Gumede. He was recorded in the early 30s. So that's where I started getting the references to listen to how they sounded. But so I take you through Maskanda, I take you through Umpaqanga, Kwela music, and Chitsonga guitar. So now, when you here, that guitar starts the intro when you are in Malamlele, somewhere down there. You know that you are in the home of Thomas Chauke. You are in the home of M.D. Shirinda. When you are in KwaZulu-Natal or anywhere, you listen to the radio and then you hear that guitar starts the intro. You know that this is Maskanda music. So now, a guitar, it is a voice of African music. Even today, people are like, so now what's happening with today with the sound of Amapiano? The guitar is still there. The electric music, it has replaced the bass guitar, the live drums, the live keyboard, but they didn't replace the guitar. The guitar is still there. And it's for people who are music lovers, you know, like people who love music. They literally love music. They love supporting jazz music. Others, they're Maskanda, and then there are people who said, "Hey, Billy, man, I love Maskanda chapter," and then other ones like, "I love Kwela," you know. So now in African jazz, we have 3 segments of African jazz. For example, Umpaqanga, it has 4 segments of it. There's Umpaqanga, Umqashio, there's a sex jive, and there's an accordion jive, and there's Umqobanyago. So Umqobanyago is that one of Mungeni Ngema and the Soul Brothers.
Right.
You know, you're speaking about 80 BPM, and then
80 BPM.
So I mean, like there's so much history in it, and also biographies. I'm bringing biographies that of musicians that they were never documented before.
I love that fact that you have other musicians' biographies included as you write this beautiful, beautiful book. I mean, it's just, I love the pictures pictorially. I think it also speaks volumes. And why was that important to you?
Right now, when I was at school and even when I was researching, I know how John Coltrane looks like. I know how Miles Davis looks like because of the photo. So now, I'm bringing these biographies of these personnels to say this is how Dakita looked like. This is how General Duze looked like. This is how Temba Mukwena looked like. People, they speak about grazing in the grass of Yumasikela. So now question, who played the guitar in there? So these are the people I'm bringing because to the fourth, because the guitars, the early guitar players, they were not recording artists, so they were behind. They were backing the Miriam Makeba and the Dolly Ratebe. So they were never captured, and their names, they were incorrectly captured because this is how it happened. They came to Joburg as migrants when they were basking in the street corners, and then the record labels, the what do you call the talent scouts, they bring them in the studio. What's your name? And then their name, they say, my name is Enoch Tabete. Enoch Tabete. They don't know how to write Tabete. They write the same name wrong. So now the other one was Stanford Tiu. When I go on the internet, I was looking for Stanford Tiu. There were Chinese name up here. That's why I was like, we have to do something about this because now the names, they were incorrectly spelled. So I have fixed that that in the book because the family has contributed a lot because a family provided me the information with the right date birth. Others even sent me that obituary thing, you know, like, Billy, this is when this man he died and all that. So I owe a lot to the family.
Billy, just tell us about Ubili, Pumapi, your background, your family background. Just bring us a little bit into your world.
Yeah, I was raised by a strong woman, you know, my mother. My father died in 1992, and you know, I come from a small family of 4 siblings, and I was born in Leboa, in Makulering. Remember potential stress?
Yeah.
And so I have like 2 parts of my life journey, and growing up musically, and then I said, no, I want to do this music thing. And I'm like, guys, I'm leaving you guys here. Like, no, I want to play with Abdullah Ibrahim. I told everyone that I want to play with Abdullah. I want to play with all these people. I'm going to Joburg. Bye-bye. I went to Joburg, and the other journey of my life started in Soweto. And that's when I met the hostics, when I was in Soweto, and all these people, the Brenda Fassi used to come there, pass by with the big dudes in the truck at the back. You remember those days?
Those were the days.
Promoting
remember the days. All right.
Promoting the album, and I was like, no. And then I see the big dudes go crazy, the truck passing by there. And, and that was where my journey began, because the music was I was at disposal of the music. My mother took me to church. At church, that's where I saw the guitar. That guitar, when I heard it ringing in my ear, my life changed immediately on spot. I said, I want to play that instrument.
Wow.
And since then, I picked up the guitar. I never looked back. And growing up then, like in 1999, I had my first passport, and I was traveling the world with the church choir. I started to become the celebrity in church. That guy whereby when it's not around in church, service is not going well. I was like that guy. And then I used to see you guys on television, Mount Felicia. You guys were coming on celebrate. On thing. Then the Daiwas and all those musicians. I was like, no, I want to be that guy. And then indeed, I worked with Abdullah Ibrahim, wow, as I said. And then I worked with Abdullah Ibrahim as a youngster. And then I grew up in the showbiz. I played pop music. I played with, traditional jazz musicians. I played in different setups. So when I was writing a book, I was reflecting from all the musicians, not just jazz. When people, they call me a jazz musician, I'm like, no, they're trying to box me, but I'm more of a versatile musician.
And a brilliant one at that, clearly.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Congratulations, and wow, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Just for going this route and doing a research tool that is going to impact so many generations.
Yes.
Thank you, well done.
Yeah. I want to add also that this book, it is a package. So now they are tutorial videos. Like I filmed them, demonstrating how this music is played and talking about the history. It's a masterclass. Each and every style, they're available on my website per subscription. So people, they need to pay for the subscription. Unfortunately, it's not for free. I filmed them. I published them in 2020, and then the scores, they are musical scores for those who can't read music. Mm-hmm. They can access the link on my SoundCloud. So when you click there, you can hear what the guitar is playing. So it's for people who can read music and those who can't read music.
Love it. Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done, Billy. Love your energy, my goodness. Wow. May I ask you to...
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. You're taken.
That's it.
Yeah, no. They meant if I go 50 fan af, they taught me to tital because when I met Mom Miriam Tandit last time, she was walking up the stairs at baseline, and it's like, I'm Caesar up, and then I was like, okay, and then I was taking her up the stairs at baseline. When I walked in the room, I saw Miriam Makeba. I did not know whether to bow or to medicate her, whether to kiss her, hug her, hold her. I'm like, and I was saying, and then luckily the guitar player who was playing Temba Mkwene, he was running late, and then I said, no, and then the other musicians were like, I was so nervous, like crazy, man. And I'll never forget that day.
Wow.
I almost wrote a thesis.
Ngiyabonga, baba. Ngiyabonga.
Oh, wow.
I'm privileged to sign this book today. Thank you for inviting me on your show. Enjoy the read. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it very much.
I appreciate you, man.